Hello everyone and welcome back. As you're seeing in this video, this is just going to be a hopefully short video of me assembling of what I've built so far of my replica of my Kit Bash replica of my Yasuke and Naoe swords. Mainly because I'm gonna have to completely assemble what I've built so far, such as like the swords, the Tsubas, and attach them to the handle, because I cannot fully assemble Naoe's sword together without putting wrapping it like the other three, because it has to be assembled. Everything has to be assembled in order for this to be wrapped up along with the others. So I decided to do this as a bit of a full video for now. It's an assembling video for now. I was hoping to make some just short clips of doing a whole katana wrapping tutorial, handle wrapping tutorial, but then man, I found out the assembling is gonna have to happen in order for me to make a tutorial for this completely. So that'll be the next full video. It's just for now. Hopefully this short video is just me assembling and how so far once you make your sword, make the blades, the Tsubas go first, and then the handles. And so, as for the speaking of swords, the kind I got for Naoe's, Yasuke's wakizashi, and Naoe's tanto is the kind where these are the parts and the installation steps, where you get your blade, your scabbard, the handle, the Tsuba. There's the blade collar, which is that. And then there's these. These are what holds the blade using the drawstring around there, which is why these are not on, the pommels are not with their handles just yet, especially this one. This fits in there just fine. Make sure you test things. Let's see. And since these are just 3 of them, that just needs the zip ties. These are the zip ties. And don't worry, every sword you get, they give you 2 zip ties, so they give you a spare in case something goes wrong with your first one, so that helps. This is pretty much what it was originally, like Demon Slayer and Zoro's Wado Ichimonji, the white sword he got from his childhood friend. Everything's pretty much just redesigned, and these are made from an indie seller from Etsy. Okay, this is pretty much how these 3 will be assembled. First we take the blade, then the Tsuba, then we put the zip tie through the hole of the blade. Then we just gotta place it through the handle. Put the zip tie around the ring, which is this. And then we place the pommel right on there. And thus the sword is assembled. And let's start with the Naoe's tanto. And just a quick mention, The kind that I got for Yasuke's longsword specifically, his is the kind where it is not this version. His is specifically made where it's solely attached with this, where it's just on the blade, and I just used a flathead screwdriver to remove the blade, and this was able to completely come off. And it, once the blade's on there, it is held down by a pin, which is the megogi pin that are used for actual katanas. So this was why you saw in the creation of this why this was already attached, unlike Naoe's, where it's unfortunately this one. If I probably should have like done it the same way as Yasuke's here, but I didn't want to have to start all over and stuff. And plus, just having the blades be like that, where it has a hole at the end of it, just makes it easier to paint. So hope that's understood. Alright, as the instructions says, we first grab our blade. We're gonna start with Naoe's, and make sure to always double check things such as the collar here. Make sure it's nicely in place, and go ahead and get your Tsuba. This is the Tsuba for the tanto specifically. These wonderful Tsubas are made by CustomMadsenCreation on Etsy. They are the maker of this, as I requested them to make these, and they did nice and beautifully on it. So if you're interested in making your own Assassin's Creed Shadow swords, you can get the Tsuba from them, and get yourself a sword from either eBay or Amazon. Solely from eBay. This is the brand I found, where I was able to redesign the whole blade because it's in pieces. Okay, so let's grab our Tsuba and our blade, and make sure it's on the right side. This is facing down. And for how I'm placing this is I'm putting the more detailed side on the facing away, and the less detailed side will be facing towards the blade, since this side tends to get the more battle damage. And some of you are probably wondering how I got the spacers on the Tsuba. What I ended up doing was placing them on the blade, and then later the Tsuba. It's just that way it can get on there nice and evenly, and it's not oddly or out of shape. And just to be able to tell how it's centered is like this. If is by having it like this, check every single side, making sure it's not like tilted left or right more. It's perfectly centered. Okay. And because of the part of the blade that is not, that will not keep this in place, I suggest taking something like a thick chunk of craft foam just to fill in the gaps here. That way your Tsuba is not moving around while it is attached to the handle. So give me a moment as I fill in these gaps with this. Okay, I'm showing as best as I can. Take a small chunk of foam and just try to fill in the gap here. That way your Tsuba's not moving around as much. There we go. And do the bottom here too. Either side, it won't be shown as it'll stay permanently attached together with everything put together piece by piece. There we go. Just like that. It's no longer moving around. Well, it shouldn't move around as badly. Shouldn't be moving around as badly as before. There we go. Okay, and get your zip tie. Make sure it's the side where this is facing outwards. And as for how to place your blade, make sure to look, the blade side is on the smallest side. So when you get the knife version, look for like the long side is the back of the blade and the smaller side is the blade side. Okay, make sure the zip tie is going first. Just like that. Okay, this is the pommel. Unlike the rest of the Tsuba and stuff, the pommel for some reason is a dark gray color, as you can probably tell. Okay, and place your oval ring. Either side is fine. Okay, yep. Put one side in, both their own individual hole. And slide this down. Make sure it is flush against there. And when you're cutting the end for the whole handle, just to fit this, make sure to cut just tiny bits and make sure there's enough room. So, because this part takes up a bit of space in the pommel, so yeah, make sure to cut down to here when you're making yourself a tanto or any kind of sword like this. Okay, and like as the instructions say, we just gotta zip tie it together. Place this there. There we go. And you want to pull tight. Make sure everything is placed tightly. Oh yeah, and just for word, don't cut this once you feel that once you feel that everything's in place, just don't cut your zip tie. The on the instructions, it just says specifically like leave leftovers, like insert it into the gap of the handle, pretty much. But since this is a long one, you can cut little bits of it, like maybe down to here. But this is pretty much how these three will be put together, minus Yasuke's. I think I can end it here, guys. What do you think? Unless you want to see me put these, put this one together. I wish I could do Yasuke's off camera because his is more easier, but this is mainly because it has to be done for Naoe specifically. Just so I can get this one wrapped along with the others. Okay. Yep, just make sure everything's nice and tight. Everything's where you satisfyingly want it to be. Yep, just take whatever leftover there is. And just slide in place. It is saying to like push this inwards. I'm not sure how they want that though. It's either this way or the other way. Something like this. Yeah, it's placed weird. Alright guys, since this is still up, since the handle's really small on this and this is what's left over, I'd say cut about maybe like this much of it off, then slide it right into the handle. That way it stays there hiding and you won't have to worry about this coming apart ever. And also just push as much of the holder to the side as this as best as you can. And the whole pommel should be able to hide this side off, so don't worry about that. Okay, just like this. Oh no. There we go. Okay, hopefully this is able to seal off this strange gap. Oh, and it's entirely up to you if you want to glue this, but just know if you put your pommel on, it might never come off, so maybe I should, I don't know, apply glue. There we go. Okay, this is my Naoe tanto so far. And speaking of, I've said before that I might get the official replicas. I've decided, nah, since I pretty much made my own from this point, since they own, like, if some of you can recall, they were making the metal replicas of Naoe's tanto and Yasuke's wakizashi. I'm not getting those anymore. I pretty much have my own already at this point, and plus they're pretty expensive, and having to make these was already an expense of my own, so, and plus the most benefit I get out of it is they're con safe, since, you know, it's wood. And yeah. Okay, let's do the wakizashi. Alright, same business. Blade first, then Tsuba. And some of you are, I wanted to say one thing about the collars of these. I pretty much want to almost say don't do it, because almost majority of the time, most of these collars I've seen online are the sharp, where there's not really a flat surfaced version, which would be able to fit the scabbards. And plus, painting this was really rough. It took me 4 tries to get this perfected, and I ended up using a paint marker where it's not very shiny. So if I don't want to have to redo it like a 5th or 6th time, so this will do for now. And plus, it doesn't look bad far away, does it? Oh well. Okay, same business. The more detailed size stays on the outside. And although this is the gap I was talking about, there's like a nice gap here. It keeps it in place, but I'd still say fill in the gap still. That way this doesn't move around as much. I don't know if you can see it, but look at this. You don't want that to happen while everything's put together. There we go, nice and filled with the craft foam. There's not as much awful movement. Okay, let's get our zip tied. Same thing, zip tied. Slide this through the hole. And before you do this, always constantly test fit things and only assemble it once you feel like you're satisfied with everything. Whoa, there's something there I don't want on my sword. Okay. Okay, and everything's where it's placed. Okay, and just a quick moment. I know this is not the Oda family crest, but there were pins that were like this, but those are like $30, and there's not to mention tariffs going on, and plus that would have been a lot more costly to this whole piece. And hopefully you guys understood that even though it's a handle, a bunch of things went into making these things. And then there's still the scabbards to work on, so look forward to that. Just hopefully these are good enough, guys. Just let me know what you think. Okay. Okay, yep. Okay, hold on, guys. Same business. Hopefully you guys can see it, but this side's smaller and this side's longer. And this side is where the blade goes. So make sure you're putting it in the side where the smaller sides match with the blade side. Okay. Okay. This is looking just fine. I'll be honest, guys, I would have gotten this done a long time ago, but I want to be able to, you know, share with you guys what I'm building and see the beauty of these things so far. Okay, get your ring. Place them in their respective sides. Okay. Okay, then start sliding in place. Okay, check things constantly. And to be sure, and to know for sure if you place it the right way or not, there's gotta be like a slight curve up, just like how a real sword would be. Like there's always like a slight curve in them. It's like facing downwards with the blade facing up. Yep. As I was saying, guys, if you don't fill the Tsuba gap with your foam of choice, you don't have to worry about the Tsuba moving as much. There we go. Okay, and remember to just bend your end inwards. And because this is a pretty good size handle, which is the wakizashi size you can find online, and just take the rest and slide it, place it inside the handle. There we go. Yep, and lay it and push it as flat as possible. And just make sure everything is as tight as you can. That way things don't move awkwardly, but I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out, so. And yep, here's your pommel. Okay. And just slide it on. I'm gonna have to glue this on because this one comes off and Naoe's doesn't. Here it is, Yasuke's wakizashi. Sorry about the awkward camera angle. I'm trying to get as much of this as I can and show you guys how beautiful this is. And as for how I've made, you know, the knotting of the handle wrap, specifically the tanto wakizashi. The sewing method was the only method for these ones because of their pommels, so if it's easier for you guys, just do the sewing method, because if you're gonna try for the traditional knots, those are gonna be hard. And I'll get to Yasuke's tachi knot in just a moment, because that one was a pain to figure out. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Sorry if the blade doesn't look new, but I was trying to make the blade look as ancient as I could, so I just hope all the swords look as ancient as I can. And like I said, I'm not gonna get the official replicas anymore since I pretty much have my own beautiful replicas. And hopefully you guys like my Kid Bash replica so far. Okay, let's put together okay, let's put together Yasuke's for now. Okay, let me just explain Yasuke's handle to you guys, because I'm not kidding when I say this. I had to do my own knotting of this because there are 0 tutorials of how to do the knot for the tachi katanas. Tachi katanas, not uchi katanas, which is what Naoe supposedly is, but her sword has the pommel of a tachi, so I was pretty much trying to research my own way of how to tie a knot. So I'll use the same method as I can for her sword once I make a separate video for the wrapping of her sword. So if anyone can find a source of where to find how to do a knotting for the tachi pommel, please tell me, so I don't have to figure it out on my own. And maybe others will follow this video and use the same method I did, but it still works. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, same thing. Here's the blade. I hope some of you remember that this was a nodachi size sword that I ended up trimming down to a tachi size sword, where it's slightly longer than a uchi katana, which is what Naoe's is. And of course, these are the custom-made collar I made. And the same thing was done for the side. The same thing was done for the scabbard too, but I'm not gonna show those yet. Just for now, we're gonna work on the blade. Once more, thank you to CustomMadsenCreation for these beautiful Tsubas. This one is not as quite flowery, it's more circle shaped, but it's still doable. What do you guys think? Do be careful when placing these, you guys, because when you slide these on, these will tend to pop off, so just make sure to hold it in place as you're putting it on there. Okay, more detailed side goes this way, and just like the handles, small side goes to the blade side, and longer side goes to the back side. Carefully slide it on. You don't want these to break off. There we go. I might not have to fill in the gap for this one, but I'm not taking a risk. Okay guys, I'm gonna have to cut this part short, sadly, so I'll show you guys how the Yasuke sword is assembled, because my phone here is running out of battery, and and plus it's really late. So I'll see you in the next video, and look forward to that, and let me know what you guys think of so far. And just keep watching and enjoying my shorts as I continue working on these beautiful blades.